This is the early 1900s, a time of splendid culture, food, and fashion, but also aviation travel. The first aircraft took off in 1903 and flew for just 12 seconds, but today they fly unprecedented distances of over 9,500 miles, lasting longer than 18 hours. So how? How did this go to this? In the early 20th century, everything was about a new way of transportation. Trains had already taken shape in a lot of countries, but air travel was on everyone's minds. Huge advancements were being made every single year, from the first air zeppelin in 1900, the first airline in 1909, and finally the first regularly scheduled commercial flight in early 1914. But then, it happened. War exploded in Europe in mid-1914, and instantly countries realized how useful aircraft could be. They put machine guns and bombs on different types of military aircraft. They went from going 70 miles an hour at the beginning of the war to twice that speed at the end of the war. Innovators attached cameras to them to carry out reconnaissance missions. More progress was made with airplanes in the 4 years of World War I than in the decade before. After World War I, the first transatlantic flight took place in 1919, which shrunk the world in the eyes of the public. Commercial and military aircraft became larger and bigger engines were being manufactured. It was still very dangerous though. Very, very dangerous. This was due to non-pressurized cabins, which meant that planes had to fly through weather and couldn't gain altitude because the pressure was too low, as well as propeller engines and poor design and aerodynamics contributed to the danger of airplanes at the time. But then, the world decided to have another war, thanks to this art school rejecting someone. Anyways, during that war, safer aircraft were invented, and unfortunately, more bombs were put on attack planes that were bigger and could carry the extra weight. After the war, things really took off. Pressurized cabins were invented in 1946, and just like that, air travel became a whole lot safer. In 1949, the jet engine was put on the first aircraft, and that was it. That was the breakthrough. Commercial airplanes were now flying easily cross-country and transatlantically. They became safer, and classic airplane circular window design was adopted to prevent windows shattering mid-flight. Many airlines were competing to control the global aviation market. The economy class was introduced, which meant that not only rich people could fly. Flying was comfortable, safe, and luxurious. This truly was the golden age of aviation. The Boeing 747 is possibly the most iconic airplane to ever exist. With its 4 engines, huge fuselage, second story, and the capacity for over 400 passengers, it was the most innovative airplane in history. It was launched in 1969 by Boeing, and many airlines jumped at the chance to get one of these modern aircraft. And this was the peak. Nothing could dethrone the king that was aviation travel. If aviation were a country, it would have the 17th largest economy in the world, and roughly 4.6 billion people are flying each year. That is more than half the entire world's population. The aircraft manufacturing giants that are Airbus and Boeing both are competing for the most fuel-efficient, modern, and economically viable aircraft of the 21st century.